Smiley here. Now, I might try and turn you round. No, it won't let me. For some strange reason, it won't let me put you on the side. So I'm just going to speak to you like this. How you doing? You all right? Let's just make sure we're in the right place. How are you doing? I finally finished editing my book. So those of you that have been patiently waiting, I will be pinging it across to you in the next couple of days. So I thought to celebrate, I'd read you one of my poems. Just realised that it's tea time. So my latest poem is it's called From the Park Bench. So I did write it from the park bench. It's about observing. So I shall read that to you. I also want to talk you through the magical podcast guide, and I also wanted to share with you some illustrations that came through from the book today, which is quite exciting. So the illustrator just sent through some draft concepts, some drawings, which it's funny, isn't it? Because when you write the book, obviously you've got an idea of what you're writing about in your head, and then you get the illustrations through and you're like, oh, it's not how I saw it in my head, but then you kind of go with it because that's, you know, people are creative and they've got their own ideas manifesting in their heads, haven't they? So if you're around, come and say hello and tell me about your day. Let's start off with the illustrations. So this is the front of the book. So I don't know if you can see, it's just pencil drawings. Very sweet. And then this was what the back was going to look like. But we actually swapped the cat, which is the character's cat, for a little fairy. That's her little fairy that comes in to help her. So that's very exciting. So I fed back on those today. So hopefully I shall get my test drivers to read the book, make some more amends. I am actually getting a little bit sick of making amends because it's like 200 and something pages. So every time somebody reads it, you have to go through and make all the amends, but never mind. Let's read my poem to you. So my poem today, to celebrate finishing editing the book, is called From the Park Bench. So I've got it here on my laptop. It says, from my shady bench in the park, I can hear the annoying dogs bark. The children nearby laugh and run. It looks like they're having so much fun. They look so happy and carefree, smiley faces and dirty knees that tell a story about their day, of how much they like messy play, the freedom to enjoy life without worry, nowhere to go, no need to hurry. There's one all alone and he won't join in. His mum is telling him to pack it in. He looks really cross and upset. He is mourning his favourite pet. Brody the pug died on Tuesday. They put him in a box and took him away. Nobody thought to ask this kid what he wanted before they closed the lid. If he wanted to say his final goodbye, pay his respects and have a big cry. Now it's pouring out all over the place because he fell over and lost the race. He doesn't care about the stupid game. He just wants a cuddle to ease his pain. Children love their pets, who love them unconditionally. If that's the truth, then why can't we? See their need and hear their call. All their behaviour is a message after all, to tell us when things get overwhelming. It's down to us to be loving and caring. Have we forgotten where we've been? We were once that child, so desperate to be seen. Until we truly know who we are, these children, they won't get very far. They're relying on us to be the right fit. There's no make, do and mend, this is it. From my shady bench in the park, I can clearly see that the world needs more kindness and empathy. It's the way to heal our suffering and return to who we are. It's the way to connect with each other and to raise the bar. The next generation is crying and really needs us to. So let's do our bit, commit and make sure we see it through. So that was a poem that I did write sitting in the park, and I was watching all the children play, and I was watching how the parents were interacting with the children. And a lot of the time I see children in distress, and because of parents' own embarrassment or shame, it kind of highlights their uncomfortableness with their child's behaviour, especially if a child is acting out in public. It can feel really overwhelming, or it can feel embarrassing. But if we haven't kind of been there and visited that part of ourselves, then we'll want to shut it down and we will want to tell our children to pack it in. So And, you know, that wasn't to shame anyone or make anyone wrong. It was just me being an observer in the park, sitting on my bench, watching, you know, family life, really. So, as the poem says, I think the world does need more kindness and empathy, and it isn't about treating children as special snowflakes, as some people think it is. It's about having boundaries with empathy and about being able to get underneath their behaviour and, you know, try and understand how they're feeling. Now, the way that I'm trying to support and help children and have empathy and validate their feelings is through my Truly Madly Smiley podcast. So for those of you that don't know what a podcast is, I suggest that you pick up my Most Magical Podcast Guide. Parents and mums have been listening to it and telling me that they love it too, because I think it kind of maybe sees things through the eyes of your inner child, the parts of you that need, you know, healing, or parts of you that are wounded. And for those of you that don't know what a podcast is, and all the techie words like trigger you and make you think, I don't understand. A podcast is just like an audio. So you can get a podcast app on your phone, or you can go straight to my website and listen to the podcast, smileyforlife.com/truly madly smiley. And it's a bit like a radio program. So I try and release an episode every fortnight, but I don't always get round to it. And sometimes I don't have anything particular burning need to say anything, so I don't make an episode for the sake of it. But say something's come up in coaching, or there's something that I feel that children need help with, then I will address it. So when you get the podcast guide, you get the first page. This is not printed off. It's done random things on my computer, but it kind of says, this is my podcast guide, and you put your name on it. And then it's got like a contents page. So it's quite comprehensive. And then it tells you, let's start from the top. What is Truly Madly Smiley? So it's like listening to an audiobook, I tell you. It's a great chance for you to spend quiet time chillaxing and feeding your brain smiliness. Your brain needs quiet time. The world is busy. There is a lot going on. We can get overwhelmed and overstimulated, and that makes us feel uncomfortable in our bodies. I wrote the podcast for Wild Hearts, so that's your strong-willed sensitive child, and I would say it's for children aged 7 to 12 years old, but I do know that adults and teenagers listen to it. My clients that I've been coaching since they were 8 years old, who are now teenagers, love it, but they know my voice and they know me. My niece loves it. She knows my voice and she knows me. But the more you listen to it, the more you get used to my voice, and my energy is in the episodes. So those of you that know that I'm a bit spiritual and a bit woo-woo, I put myself into the episodes. I put the energy, the intention I set when I sit down to write the episode and record it. So you get me showing up in the room with your child, which is quite nice. I find it's quite healing. I have podcasts or audios that I listen to of people that I follow and that I, you know, that are teaching me things, that are my teachers. And I find it comforting to hear their voices and have the energy of them in the room with me. I listen to a podcast. I listen to a podcast when I'm cooking, when I'm out for walks in nature. I try and get out and walk every day. I sometimes will even listen to a podcast before I go to sleep if I'm really tired and my brain is like really busy and overstimulated and it wants to just chill out. Some relaxing ones, some like guided visualizations. It says, where can I listen in? So on here, it shows you can get it on iTunes, you can get it on Spotify, you can get it on Google Play. I think you can get it on Amazon Music, Stitcher. I think that's an American one. And on my website, as I've said. When is the best time? And it's just like, it's there for you when you need it. It's not a live show, it's recorded. So all the recordings are there. I think there's like nearly 30 episodes there. So you just pick the episode you want and listen to it. You can listen to it in the bath, at night time, as I said, in the car. So I've got clients who, the ones who struggle to go to school, there's an episode, I want to say it's episode 7 or episode 9, the one with the best day ever. That is actually a relaxation to get your kids from the house to the school without having complete meltdown moment. And then it says, how can I speak to Smiley? So I encourage the children to interact with me because I don't want it to be like a one-way broadcast where I'm talking at them. I ask them lots of questions and I get them to think about things. And if you go to the page on the website for each episode, so each episode is smileyforlife.com and then it's /TMS for Truly Madly Smiley and then a number for the episode. So say you wanted to leave a comment on, I don't know, episode 3, you would go to smileyforlife.com /TMS3 and in the comments section you can type and ask me a question, or you can tell me how you found the episode or what you learned from it, and I will come and respond to your kids, because I want to start having conversations with them so they feel like they're being heard and understood and listened to. And actually, hopefully from those conversations, I'll be able to write other episodes, because if you tell me what you need to know. So often my clients will send me emails and say, Smiley, can you do an episode on, I think the one out of jealousy that I did at Christmas time was a client suggestion, and lots of the ones that I've done on worries have been for clients. So if I've got a particular child in mind or something I'm struggling with, I'll think, how have I found my way with this? And then how can I translate that into child speak, into child's play, so the kids will understand it? So yesterday I wrote 2 new episodes. I wrote an episode on the furry friendship. So I wrote about what dogs and our pets can teach us about life. You know, the spirit of a dog being very in the moment and not having any worries and just wanting to be fed and cuddled. And then what was the other one I wrote? Oh, I did a whole episode on creativity. So that was about feeding your brain with creative, positive images and thoughts, and getting the children to do practical things to bring that to life. Those 2 episodes will be coming out at the end of the month. I haven't recorded them yet, but I've written them. So I always write them first. I go a bit off-piste when I'm recording them. Something kind of takes over and gets in the way, but it's fun. So then it says, how will the podcast help me? How will it brighten my life? And it says, there are 6 good reasons to tune into the podcast. You will feel like somebody gets you and that you're not alone. So it's quite validating to have someone that's not mum or dad. So kids, I know it's annoying, but they say to me, yeah, but my mum does say I'm pretty. Yeah, but my mum does say I'm smart. Yeah, but my dad always says. And it's like they've heard it so much that they don't actually, doesn't go in. Doesn't go in. Oh, mums and dads just say that anyway. But when it's someone else saying it, like a teacher or, you know, someone that they feel understands it, that they've got a connection with, it goes in. It says, you will understand the importance of your mental health. So I'm trying to educate children about the fact that, actually, I've just been coaching today and I've been saying to kids, you know, it's normal that you worry. We live in a really busy world, and your brain isn't made to have like 10 browsers open at the same time. And I'm trying to let them know that the way that they feel is a normal response to the world that they live in. Because I think the thing is, when we all start feeling not like ourselves, we start thinking, what is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You will learn essential life skills and social skills. So I'm trying to teach children about friendships and relationships, because, you know, most trauma is relational, and that's helpful, I think, in terms of healing. You will begin to take care of yourself and relax more easily. So I'm trying to teach you how to be in your bodies and relax. You will start to feel more confident and happy. You will. The more you connect in with yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more you work out how the bits of you will fit together and how you make sense of the world and your place in it, you will start to feel more happy and confident. I said to a mum the other day, she was like, oh, we haven't got the time, or we haven't got the budget for one-to-one coaching. I was like, you don't need one-to-one coaching. If you're in that kind of space, just put one of these on every day and drip feed it into your child. Just listen to it. You know, there are children that need one-to-one support, but if you just want to train your child, you know, submerge your child in a positive energy that drip feeds the messages they need to hear, that's the way to do it, I think. Not just my podcast, there are other podcasts as well. There's the Go Zen podcast, which is for anxiety, and I think the Big Life Journal have just brought out a podcast, so they'll put their own take on it. So mine's just storytelling and giving you practical exercises and things to do. I don't know how they do their podcast, but you find the one that's right for you. Just make sure that you're feeding your brain the good stuff. Hi, Tracy. Tracy says, have you done anything for children with siblings with special needs? No, I haven't, but I can imagine that's very difficult for that child. Does that child then become the helper? When you say special needs, can you be more specific in what that means? Because I don't really know what comes under that umbrella. Can you repeat what was the one? Oh, Tracy, if you get this guide, so that was the next thing I was going to say. If you download the guide, it actually tells you in the guide the most popular episodes. So look, it says, I think it's backwards on here, but it says, here are all the ones that you need for worries. Here are the ones that you need for friendships. Here are the ones that you need for school. And here are the ones that you need, the ones that are most loved, the most popular episodes. So this is in the guide. smileyforlife.com/ Dear-Smiley. If you go to the website, on the home page, there's a massive sign up box that says sign up for my newsletter and you'll get a copy of this guide. Download it. In it is also this really lovely podcast goals. So every time you listen to an episode, you colour it in on the chart. So you can make it a fun thing for your child to do. Like, you can plan what episode you're going to listen to. You can do a review. You can review and give scores for each episode. And it also tells you how to make your own podcast. So you can make your own podcast using a mobile phone or a tablet. It's got some little notes pages for you to scribble on. So it's a really nice guide to encourage the children to take responsibility for their own healing, their own personal development. Because I even think at 7 you can do that. I used to love like writing lists and drawing and doing stuff like that when I was a child. Some people might say that was odd because I was an odd child, but I don't think I was. I just think I was a teacher from a very young age. What's Tracy saying? My middle child has, at times, yeah, it's hard because they become like a carer, I would imagine. And I wonder if they have to suppress. I wonder if they feel like they have to suppress their needs because the other child takes precedent. I don't know. My middle child has 5 high-functioning autism. My youngest is deaf. Okay, so your youngest won't be able to listen to the podcast. Yes, do that when you get home. Yeah, I could do an episode on having a brother or a sister with special needs. I tell you why I stay away from that though, Tracy, because there's a lot of labelling and statementing that goes on, and my concern is if I add energy to that and making it more of a thing than it needs to be, because I think for children to grow up with a label is really debilitating and can rob them of their confidence, because they can become their label. And when we're kids, all we want to be seen is like the other children. We want to be like them. And then when we're adults, we don't want to be like anyone. We want to be different. We want to be ourselves. We want to be seen for who we are. Yeah, it's hard, right? It's hard. And also, I don't want to take away, what those children with special needs, what their struggle is in life. But I'm just very wary of giving it a label and statementing stuff, because I'm seeing a lot of that and I don't know how helpful that is. If it helps a child make sense of who they are and it gets them the support they need, fair dues. But other than that, I'm not really sure how helpful it is. I suppose it's different on a case-by-case basis. It's different for every child. But I can imagine being a parent of children like that is also very challenging for you. Very challenging. You might like the podcast. You might find it helpful. Yeah. So some of the things that people are telling me about the podcast is that they're falling asleep within 20 minutes of listening to it instead of struggling to go to sleep because it's taking their minds off of their anxiety. So as I said, some people are finding it useful to go to school. Some people are finding it makes them laugh, which is laughter is the best medicine. That's a Smiley thought card, isn't it? That's a different energy to the energy of fear or nerves or anger. So please download that guide and, get your children engaged in the podcast. Make it a little project and, get them colouring in the goal sheet so they can set their own goals. I will listen to how many episodes of the podcast you write in the bubble and then you colour in. I just created that because I wanted people to see how powerful the podcast is. And also, if you're a teacher and you're listening to this, the podcasts are a great way to create lesson plans for PSHE or for activities in the classroom. A lot of them have got practical stuff in. If you're a teacher listening to them, if you listen to them with your teaching head on, you'll see what I'm saying. So and that's all a free resource. So, if you know teachers, spread the word. And you could also download the guide and use it in the classroom. Children could pick the episodes. I think read the episodes out to the children and ask them which episode speaks to them the most. Often when I'm coaching children in a session and I'm about to send them like a follow-up video for something for them to do, I say, what do you want to do this week? Do you want to draw your desert island, do this, do that? I give them choices, and then they're more likely to get involved in the activity if they feel like they're in control, like they've had a say in it. So, but I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed my poem. Hope you like the artwork for the book. Have you got any other questions you want to ask me while I'm here? While I'm going to go and cook my dinner? I'm really busy with clients at the moment. I've gone from while I was writing the book, I felt like the universe gave me the space to write the book, and I didn't take on any new clients. I just serviced my existing ones, which was nice. And now, so now I finished the book, the phone's ringing off the hook, and I've got lots more people coming through for family coaching, which is lovely, because that's something I really would like to do more of this year. Anyone got any questions for me while I'm online? If you're just joining us now, pick this up on the replay, because it's got some helpful information in it. No, are we all good? Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. And if you have been listening to the podcast, or you've downloaded the Most Magical Podcast Guide, write in the comments below and tell me what you think of it. Tell me what you think of it and what you like. How do you support a child with anxiety who isn't talking to you? Oh, that's quite a specific question. Is there a reason why they're not talking to you? I'm not sure I understand. I think I need a bit more context there. I do want to help you, but is talking to school? So can the school tell you? Can the school tell you what sort of support they need at home to help them with that? I'm getting a sense that there's more history to that there's a reason why that's happening. I might be wrong, because I'm not understanding why that child would not communicate with you but would communicate with the school. I don't know actually if there are any courses for parents who have children with special needs. I'm guessing that there possibly are. I don't know if you've heard of the parenting practice, Tracy, but the parenting practice they're in Clapham. And I know one of the founders of it, one of the ladies of it, her son has got autism because she wrote a book about him. Hang on, let me just bring this up on my laptop and see if I can help you, my love. Hold on. The parenting practice. And maybe even reading her book and reading about her experiences of having a child with special needs might be a comfort to you. Because I can imagine that at times that can be very challenging, but it can also feel quite lonely. But I think there are many parents like you. Yes, so the parenting practice. Where's the book? Our books. The lady's called Elaine, I think. Elaine Halligan. My Child is Different, her book's called. She's the director of the parenting practice. So go to their website, theparentpractice.com. They're in Clapham. They've got lots of parenting courses. But I'm sensing that you need that support. That's a challenge for you. Being a parent to any child is challenging, and we all need to make sure that our bucket is full, or we're not giving from an empty cup, and that we feel supported. But maybe, Tracy, you don't want to get into that on here, and I understand if you don't because it's private. But I hope in some way I've given you something to go on. If you wanted to message me on here and fill me in, because I feel like there's a bit more context to that question, and I'd like to be able to help you with it. The biggest thing that you can work on if you want to have that kind of rapport is to work on the connection with your child. That's what my ebook does, 30 Days to Rediscover the Magic of Parenting. That builds up your connection with your child so that you can have those difficult conversations. And also, if you go to GoZen, GoZen.com is a website that deals with just anxiety for children. And there's lots of blogs and helpful articles on the GoZen website, which talks about what to say to your anxious child, how to deal with your anxious child. Because there's, I was just joking with a client, actually. I was saying, don't worry. And then I just thought, don't say don't worry to a worried child. It's the worst thing you can say, because of course they're going to worry. That's what their brain does. It's just, don't say don't worry. I kind of said it without thinking what I was saying. Also, Tracy, if you follow me on Pinterest, I have got a Pinterest board for supporting anxious children. So I tend to pin every day things that I see that are helpful around anxiety. I've also got one on supporting angry children and strong-willed sensitive children. So if you go to pinterest.com/Smiley coach, you can follow my boards on there and you can see all the different things I've pinned, and there's loads of helpful resources on there. So hopefully that will help you. It sounds frustrating, the situation you're in. It sounds quite frustrating. Okay, guys, I hope that's helpful. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all soon, okay? Bye. Bye.